Dreamy Jaguars, episode 5. So following on from our last video, we are going to try and talk about the DMT experience. So we'll describe the experience from start to finish, and then maybe you can get a better handle on what happens.
What you thought we'd do is we'd talk about the actual experience, but in stages. So where it starts, where it ends. Simple.
So you sit down in your softly lit room with candles, very soft music, etc. You get handed the vessel, and in one go you ingest the whole shebang, and instantly there is a sense of anesthesia that envelops your whole body, and with that a breaking apart of this reality. This reality just disintegrates in a sort of whoosh. Everything instantaneously rockets forward with a sort of this pixelating of reality as you know it, just disintegrating as you're going backwards into the chair and closing your eyes as you're exhaling. But then there's a weird mixture of speed and slow motion at the same time, which is difficult to explain, but there's a whoosh, a breaking apart of reality, a pixelation, a vibration, a sort of energetic burst, hum, crackle, and then, like I said, for me it's speed and slow motion at the same time, and woof, you are staring at the abyss.
There's a sense of falling, but it isn't falling, so you could be falling up. You know, there's a dissolution of space, even though your body's still there, even though you're still aware of your body, and at that within that minuscule time that you start to go, you're still aware you're breathing. The body just starts to drift away, and you're in a place where every visible spectrum, or everywhere you can possibly look, even though generally I have my eyes shut because I can't keep them open at that point, but everywhere your perceived head is turning is just geometry, patterns and colours and shapes, and initially the first stuff we started doing was very South American, Mayan, Inca. The colours of it were very, you know, they're so vivid and clear, but everywhere you look it's geometrics coming across, and like Paul said, it's fast but it's slow, and if you kind of try and pinpoint on something, you literally will go straight into it, and it will be folding in, and all the shapes will just keep going in and in and in, and the colours coming on, and the vibration and the sound, which is, you know, sometimes there is no sound, there's no music, but it just becomes very, very intense.
So to follow on from what Justin just said, that's pretty much the first 10 seconds. geometry that's there formed in front of you, for me, starts to take on a living aspect, and from this geometry beings will form. And like I said before, this blue-skinned female awareness entity is present, and she will be doing extraordinarily impossible feats of magic, if you like, with all sorts of geometry moving in around her, and sort of, it's almost feels like it's some sort of visual language that they are using to communicate with you. And obviously McKenna talks about that quite rigorously, the sort of visual language aspect of this environment. They are showing you things that they want you to understand, and obviously for us mere mortals it's virtually impossible to even get a grasp on what the hell's going on, let alone take anything intellectual from that experience. We're just not evolved enough yet, but you are evolved enough to experience it, and maybe one day we will understand what's going on.
Realisation, right? The brain, all of a sudden it starts to wear off, and all of a sudden you go, oh yeah, that's right, I've done DMT, and that's what it was all about. And then there's a bit of sadness there, because you were like, I was so into it, so in the moment, that I've forgotten what it is I wanted to see and do when I was in there. Because there's always this concept, I'm going to go in, I'm going to ask these empty questions, I'm going to keep my brain going, I'm going to be able to look around and do stuff. Actually, when you're in there, all those human brain processes, all those thoughts that you were going to do, they're gone, they're completely gone, and you're just in the moment, talking, discussing, not talking, listening, emotional vocabulary, telepathy. And then what happens is, like I said, you realise you're you're coming out, you've done DMT, a little bit of sadness, you start to get the geometry again, it starts to drift back, and then for me, this is the most hideous part of my DMT trip. The most hideous part of it is when I start to feel my body again, and rather than feel like energy, rather than feel like everything vivid and static, it becomes dull and damp, and my body feels like I'm actually putting a shell on.
So you go in, your entity contact is there, that's the meat and potatoes of the experience, and within 20 minutes you could go and have dinner with the Queen. It's no problem. And that's the beauty of it, and that's what sort of says to me that the body, well, it's a human, it's a human hormone essentially. The body creates it, the body loves it, and yeah, who knows where it takes you.
Okay, so yeah, like I said, we've tried to do something different, tried to keep it more as a conversation this time round. I hope you guys like it. If you do like it, subscribe, like, tell your friends, get as many people to come back, make comments. We love the comments. We've got the Instagram, so you can try and find us on Instagram
at Dreaming Jaguars.
At Dreaming Jaguars. Yeah, and let's get some conflab going. We want to hear your opinions. We want to hear about your adventures, and then yeah, also we want to hear about how you may have
changed your perceptions. But anyway, yeah, hope you guys like it. Come back for another one.
See ya.
Peace.